welcome everyone to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we are very, very thankful to those of you who are joining us here live on various platforms, each and everywhere. We're very, very thankful to you, and we thank you for those of you who join us here on the broadcast this morning. I should say this evening. Now we're in the evening time here on the East Coast. Again, big shout out to everyone who's tuned in here to the broadcast today. We are also very, very appreciative to those of you who are watching us on the replay. That's right, on the archive, whether it be on Facebook Live, on YouTube, on Twitch, or on Twitter TV. We are not mad at you, and we appreciate you for joining us here. Remember, you can follow this show. Follow this show, please. Don't mess around. Follow the show right here on Real Talk Sports and number 7. You also can follow me personally at Minister J Simmons. That's Minister, the letter J Simm. Check us out anywhere on social media. And again, if you have a great sports story, because we're always looking for those, if you got something that really cool going on behind the scenes, please, ma'am, please, sir, check us out. You can go ahead and hit us up right here. Let me put it up here. Bam! There's the email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net. Or you can also find us at just by calling me 678-410-9833. Big weekend in sports this weekend, of course, as you would expect. It was like the conundrum of everything going on. I always call Atlanta the conundrum of sports in the South, and really the conundrum of sports, I would say, in the United States now. So many things happening here in this metropolitan area. It's incredible how much stuff goes on. This weekend was no different. You had a blockbuster appearance by, when I say appearance, I mean, the Lakers are not a good team, but anytime you have the king, LeBron James was in town. It was his birthday weekend. He did not disappoint. You also had, of course, the college football semifinal playoff game. That game was epic. We're going to talk about that and ask you the question, along with the Michigan TCU game. Was this the greatest playoff semifinal matchups of all time? And number 3, the Falcons played, and we got a chance to look again at Desmond Ritter, the guy that everybody I think hopes will be the quarterback for the Falcons going forward, the franchise quarterback. And then, of course, we're going to talk about in the second segment what is on everybody's mind, and hopefully prayers for are moving forward with everyone, and that is the shocking injury to young Mr. Hamlin, Damar Hamlin, from the Buffalo Bills, who actually, for a moment on the field, had his heart stop. And so we're going to talk about that and talk about kind of what's going to happen going forward and how's that going to affect the NFL. What are they going to do? We're going to talk about all of that stuff in just a few moments as we bring on, we got great guests and, of course, our co-host, the lovely Queen, Miss Tree Dolman, and the man himself, 2-time Super Bowl champion, Tyrone Poole, will be joining us in just a few moments. So, yeah, guys, like I said, it's just good stuff. I mean, sports is just huge, huge, huge. This weekend was huge. Like I said, LeBron James dropped 47. I'm trying to see if we can maybe get some clips of that before we log off the air. I'm going to try to do that for you if I can. If not, you're going to have to take my word for it. It was off the chisane. Yeah, LeBron, he just, it's amazing that this guy at age 38 years old was able to do what he did against the Hawks. Like I said, 47 points, and the bulk of them in the second half, where the Hawks just had no answer. And speaking of no answer, that's going to be the question. What are the answers for the Hawks going forward? Because this team right now is seems like it's imploding. And so that's what we're going to go ahead and ask you guys what you guys think. Can the Hawks make it? What do they need to do? Are they going to fire Coach Nate? There's rumors going around that Coach Nate might retire. The front office has been going through all kinds of drama. So it's just, a lot going on with the Hawks. And the question is, are they going to be able to survive and be able to continue to build this team around Trae Young? Because now there's question about Trae Young. You have a bunch of people talking about trade him now. So it went from trading John Collins to now possibly, should we trade Trae Young? So, it's just real crazy, guys. I mean, it's just a lot, a lot going on right now. And like I said, it's just very, very interesting, the world of sports that we have right in front of us here. Well, speaking of right in front of us, you guys know anytime we do this sports show, we bring on one of those beautiful ladies in the way of sports talk, radio or TV. We simply call her the Queen. Tree Dolman is in the building. Tree, welcome back.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Jonathan.
What's going on, Tree?
Oh, nothing much. What's going on with you? I heard you talking about the Hawks.
Yeah, so big weekend in sports. The Hawks tipped it off on Friday night. They were hosting the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the Lakers are not a good team, obviously, but They have two future Hall of Famers, probably three future Hall of Famers on that team. In the unibrow, I shouldn't call him that. Anthony Davis, uh, Russell Westbrook, and of course the King, LeBron James, who's on his quest to try to catch Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and surpass him as being the number one scorer of all time. And Tree, on his 38th birthday, he dropped 47 points on the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes, he did.
Incredible. I mean, what do you think about that? An athlete now, can you believe, first of all, that LeBron's been playing for 20 years, started at age 18?
Yes.
What do you think about an athlete being able to do that after playing in the league for 20 years, especially basketball?
I mean, it happens when you train.
Yeah, I mean, you train, but I mean, that was an efficient 47. That was not like, him just like getting a lot of shots. I mean, just say, hey, feed the ball to LeBron. I mean, he really like stayed within the offense and moved the ball around, and he just looked like vintage LeBron. I mean, he looked like somebody rolled the clock back.
Yeah,
Like,
I watched it. He did. He played well.
yep. And you look at the Hawks and you say to yourself, kind of what happened, because at one point they had like a 15-point lead, like midway through the second quarter, and so like in the second half they went.
Yeah. I mean, did you watch the game last night?
I didn't get a chance to watch much of the game last night. I know it was a great game. The Hawks took it into two overtimes, but once again, it seems like they had the opportunity to win that game,
They did.
either in regulation and in the first overtime. And once again, they let it slip out of
Yeah,
their
but
funny
they're
fingers.
playing. They're playing a good game, and you win some, you lose some. They have no reason to hang their heads about the loss last night because it was just great basketball from both sides.
Well, I get what you're saying, but at some point they're going to have to be able to close out these games, because you're going to get to the point where they're going to make some changes. And as you know, or may not know, there's all kinds of things going on in the front office staff. Several guys have been either asked to leave or have been moved to different positions. So I'm not sure what's going on with that team, but it does appear that at the top level with the executives, something ain't right.
Yeah,
So
I know you were saying that Trey wants to leave. I really think a big part of why Trey wants to leave is because his role has changed now that DeJounte is on the team. If you notice, I mean, I think he was excited about getting help, and I don't think that he thought that it would be how it is with DeJounte because he's really a star player and a good player. And it's really taken away from him and his magic, I feel. So I think that's part of the problem. And I think the other part of the problem is Coach Nate. I could be wrong, but that's just what I think.
all right, so that's what everybody is. A lot of people been saying that all over social media. Fire Coach Nate, allegedly he said people were saying that he's going to resign. He said he didn't say that. He just kind of was very cryptic. He said, "Well, every year I kind of do an analysis of kind of where I'm at, what I want to do with my family, and make decisions there." He said, "But right now I'm not thinking about anything like that." So I'm not sure. You never know when it comes to the press. You people want clickbait. People say things that take things out of context. So I'm really not quite sure what's going on with him, but definitely something's going on with that team. But I tell you where something's not going on, except for stuff good. The guy that we're about to bring on next, he is not a one, but two-time Super Bowl champion. He's also a member of the Fort Valley State Sports Hall of Fame. And he's an all-around good guy. Mr. Tyrone Poole, 38, is back in the building. Welcome back, sir.
Hello, everybody. How we doing? Hello, Miss Tree. How you doing, Jonathan? Hello to everybody watching and listening. Hope everybody is having a good first of the new year and happy New Year's to you guys. First show of the new year.
First show of the new year, doggone it. First show of the new year. How about that? Yep, we are here in 2023. That number just sounds real odd to me. I mean, I guess because I was born earlier than most people watching. That number 2023, I'm like, dang, that's like a future world, baby. I mean,
You
yeah,
got
it's crazy.
Sanders, you got Barry Sanders and Michael Jordan.
Say it again.
You have Barry Sanders and Michael Jordan.
Is it their birthday today? Did I miss something?
No, it's their number. Barry
Oh, it's their
Sanders.
number, right? That's true. Yep, 20 and 23. That's it.
So,
Yeah, it's just incredible. So Tyrone, looking at these Hawks team, I mean, all kind of rumors sliding around, stuff going on in the front office. Multiple guys have been fired or asked to move to the other positions. Tony Russell, the principal owner, now his son is like over basketball operations. And what the heck?
Wait, they fire people in the front office?
Oh yeah, the front office. It's been a wild situation. Of course, Travis Schenck was moved on. He's now some type of advisor, special advisor to the president. and also several other guys who were executive advisors from the Hawks have been asked to move on. Let me just pull that headline up here. Atlanta
Wow,
Hawks.
I didn't know that one.
Yep, a lot going on here with Atlanta, and that's probably why you got so much turmoil on the field as well. When you got stuff going on with your management and your executive team, nothing good's going to happen there. So hopefully they can get this thing underway. Let's pull the headlines up here. Yep, and yeah, they've done some. They definitely have done some changes. The biggest thing is here we go. Hawks head of basketball operations now moves to a new role. Talking about Travis Schlenk, he's now, like I mentioned, just a special advisor to Tony Wrestler, and a lot of that is because that Wrestler would not want to pay any type of severance or deal with have to paying a guy that's not working for him. So some of it's that his son is now taking over a big portion of the team's operation as well. It's also been written that a couple of the advisors and scouts they've also been asked to leave, and turning some, including some longtime scouts. So yeah, just a lot of stuff going on within the management circle of the Atlanta Hawks.
Mm.
And like I said, there's been some buzz around social media, not just social media, even like when I'm at the game, a lot of people, some of the reporters and even fans talk about the fact that you alluded to, Trey not being comfortable in his role. And the realities are the team oftentimes plays better for stretches of time when he's not there because the ball moves. When Trey gets in, it seems like the ball oftentimes does not move around. And when he's hot, it's great. But when he's not, which right now he has not been, the Hawks are really kind of a different team.
Well, I just disagree with that.
Okay,
That
you have the right to do
he
that.
he has the he has the most assists on the team with scoring 25 points. Actually, he's the only player in the NBA that averages 25 points and 10 assists. So it's not like he's not sharing the ball if that's his average. And he's the only player in the NBA to do so.
No, I'm not saying he's not sharing the ball. It's just that it's like I mentioned from the beginning of the season, he's just not as efficient as he was. I
Didn't
mean,
you
for him to
say
get
he's
those,
not moving the ball?
yeah, but see when he gets the ball, if you watch the Hawks game, the pace and the tempo slows dramatically when he gets the ball. The other thing too is unfortunately, unlike last year, he's much less efficient in his scoring. Like, yeah, he's scoring about the same, but it's taking him more shots because his shooting percentages went down. I mean, this is it's really a market thing. Like, for example, last night he had 30 points. He was 8 of 22 from the floor.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you just that's a problem because those missed shots oftentimes turn into buckets for the other team. I'm not taking away that the guy's still putting up the numbers for the assists and he's still scoring, but again, it's not efficient, and he's got to find some way to shoot better. Now, he said last year when he had a little slump, hey, I can shoot out of it, and eventually he did, but right now, it's a problem.
Yeah, I don't see it as a problem because again, his role has changed. So he doesn't handle the ball as much as he used to. DeJounte handles the ball a lot, and that makes a difference. So I love you too. I look at everything when I'm looking at the difference, which again is why I think that's part of the reason that I think that maybe he wants to leave is because he's not maybe happy with his new role because the DJ does have the ball a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, they were all like kumbaya in the. I don't know. I
Well,
just don't get it.
you can still like somebody. Doesn't mean you dislike somebody because you don't like what your coach is doing with your position. You still can be close with your teammate and like your teammate. It's not personal with the teammate.
All right, before we take a break here, so I'm going to ask both of you guys a question. Do you think that the problem is more a Trey Young problem or poor coaching by Nate McMillan? Trey, it seems like you fall in the favor that Coach Nate is probably the bigger problem than Trey.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I know that the issue that they had a couple of weeks ago where he missed a game, I know that's pretty serious because as an athlete, you know that you don't miss a game. You show up for your teammates. I'm not really sure. I can't say, honestly, if it's more Trey or Nate. I would have to actually know information and not speculate. So I really don't know. I can't say.
Tyrone, your thoughts? Do you think the problem lies more with poor coaching with Coach Nate not being able to kind of put this roster together, or Trey being the unhappy superstar?
That's an old saying that goes, someone can take the hand that you're dealt and turn it into a winning hand. So you may see it a losing hand, but somebody else will turn into a winning hand. There's another old saying that goes, two people can be looking at the same um, place, okay, that's run down. One person can say, this is a wonderful opportunity. The other one can say, wow, this is such a messed up situation. Bottom line, what I'm trying to say is it starts with the person in the mirror. If you want to make it work, it'll work. That's all I say to that.
Well, there it goes. I'm sure this is going to be a point of contention for Hawks fans for the rest of the season. Well, hey, I tell you what, guys, we're going to get into a topic that's going to get a little more serious. If you want to find out about what it is, you have to stay tuned to the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go nowhere, please. Thank you.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
Coming up next, it's the Real Talk Sports Show, bringing you great sports talk with perspective. Now, here's our host, Jonathan Simmons.
We're back here, guys, on the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. Right next to me is the lovely Miss Tree Dolman. We know her as the Queen. And the champion right with us, Mr. Tyrone Poole. Well, guys, unfortunately, as what's happening in the world of sports, especially when we have any kind of sports that's high risk, or to be the NFL, NASCAR, bad things can happen to people involved. And last night we saw a horrific injury where a player was actually, for a moment, needing CPR on the field. And we're going to discuss this with, of course, our panel. I'm going to bring in someone that has a unique look at this. This young lady actually has played the game and has a son who's in the game as well. Welcome back, the lovely Miss Candace Mitchell, to our show.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
What's
to be
going on,
back.
Candace? How you be?
Pretty good on this rainy evening.
I seem to be having a little bit of an echo. I'm going to try to adjust my microphone here, and then we'll come back. Actually, we'll take a little quick break, guys. We'll be back with the Real Talk Sports Show in just a minute. Don't go nowhere, please. Thank you.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions, or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
We're back with the Real Talk Sports Show here, and we want to talk now on a serious subject. Damar Hamlin, Buffalo Bills cornerback, after what apparently was a relatively routine tackle, got up and then went down, and CPR had to be administered. What were you, first of all, did any of you guys actually see it in real time, or have you guys actually seen the clip of the actual injury? Tree, have you seen it at all?
Yes, I was watching the game. I saw it real time.
Okay, Tyrone?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, and Candace, did you see it either real time or, yeah, so,
Yes.
I mean, it was just real crazy because, I mean, would you all agree it seemed like a routine play?
To me, it did.
I mean, Tyrone, did you see anything out of the ordinary? I mean, you played a DB position. I mean,
Well, I just had a conversation with a guy about this. It's just my opinion. It's my opinion. I think the rules of the NFL caused that injury. Okay, why do I say that? Because I'm telling the guy that we were talking to, he's a real big, football fan. He understands football. I think you got these defensive guys who are trying to figure out how to tackle people now. Okay, and you come up and you expose yourself like that. Well, I'm just gonna bear hug the guy and bring him down. Now the offensive guys, they're not telling the offensive guys to slow down. Look at Josh Allen. I mean, how many times have you seen quarterbacks try to run over defensive guys because they know the defense they've been handcuffed. The teeth have been taken out of their mouth. Their bite is not as great as it was before. So that's why I say I think the rule, taking the aggressiveness away from the guys, not saying hurt nobody by no means, but I'm like, normally you would see a safety coming downhill to hit somebody. He's using the shoulder pads. But in that situation, he's trying to bear hug him and grab him. And of course, we know how close millimeters the heart is from, the rib cage and all that stuff. So the bones, they're not like iron, where if an object hit your chest, your bones are going to be stiff. No, the bones are going to give. So again, I just think there's a whole lot of other things people can say, whatever. But for me personally, I think some of the rule changing have gotten these guys in the head to where they don't know how to come up and tackle. Then the offensive guys, they're like, hey, I'm still going to run hard. So now it's kind of like, so that's just my opinion. It's unfortunate and, very unfortunate. But that's just, my take on some of it.
Tree, what were your thoughts when you saw it?
I mean, I was heartbroken, went into prayer, kept praying. Honestly, it still breaks my heart. I was emotional. It's not something you ever want to see. And when I saw him get up and then he grabbed his helmet and fell back, and then the way that his arms fell to the ground, I knew that it really was not good, because when you fall, your arms fall. His arms didn't fall. He fell, his arms were a 90-degree, and then they like slowly went down to the ground. And that was very strange. And I knew it wasn't a good situation. So I was just in prayer, just praying, and definitely concerned. But I know God is a healer and there's nothing too big for him. And I'm still praying because he still can come through. And I'm still hoping that he can. I feel bad for his mom, but at the same time, I'm happy that his mom was at the game with him and that she could ride over and actually be there with him and not have to be on the phone, traveling, wondering. So, like I said, just want God to get all of the glory, which he will always anyway, regardless of his plan. But I'm hoping that his plan is to heal.
No doubt. Candace, probably more so than any of us, your position is a little bit unique, having played the game for a while, but also being an NFL wife and mom of a collegiate player. Kind of what were your thoughts when you saw that hit?
I was devastated. I had never seen anything like that before. Through my various lenses of the game itself, I hurt for him. I hurt for his teammates, his opponents, just everybody involved in the football community. But when I watched that, I immediately went into mom mode. And it was, as Tree mentioned, it was such a blessing that his mother was there in the stands, because a lot of times family doesn't travel to away games, and so to have his mother present, at such a devastating, in such a devastating situation, but to be able to get down to the field and to be in the ambulance with her 24-year-old son, I just can't imagine what was going through her head. I know for me, and I don't even know this young man, I was hurting so bad on my end. And it just so happened to be the same day that my youngest son declared to be in the NFL draft. And so I went from being so excited about my son's announcement to, I was just, it put me in a whole different mind frame. I was scared. I was scared and fearful of, what I know that even me as a player, but, players in this game, they put their lives on the line, at every snap. And so, that's just a part of the game. And it was just a very unfortunate situation. And I just hope that this young man comes out okay.
Yeah, that's all our prayers, that we would see that and want that. And Tyrone, you said something very interesting about the NFL and kind of how the rule changed. How do you think it's going to affect the NFL going forward? Do you think they might take another look at this and maybe adjust at the way the tackling is set up? What do you think might be some of the things? Or what would you recommend the NFL do?
Well, I would have to think on that as far as what my recommendation would be.
Sure, it makes sense.
I'm pretty sure everybody understands that. You just go back and look at the scenarios in previous games, past games, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where defensive players they're indecisive on how to tackle. Go back and look at the Minnesota Vikings when they played the New Orleans Saints. And the defensive guy coming up, and he's like, okay, how should I tackle him? How should I? And he ended up missing the tackle, and the guy scores on a normal play, on a normal like mentality. And I'm not saying back in the day, but just allowing the guys to tackle. That defensive player would have never missed that tackle. So again, the other thing also I look at, bodies in motion, bodies in motion. Okay, the defensive guy I've seen, even myself. Okay, I'm not trying to go and harm myself and hurt myself. That'd be crazy. But what I try to do, I try to hit the guy just like we've been taught. Lowest man win, right? So go through the thighs and squeeze through the thighs, squeeze the legs together, and boom, bring him down. But also you got an offensive guy who's trying not to allow you to do that. So what they're doing when you go low, he's trying to drop his shoulder, which makes his shoulder pad go low. Now you get helmet to helmet. They throwing the flag saying the defensive guy is targeting. Come on, man. So yes, they do need to adjust them rules. They really need to go back and look at it and put some defensive guys on that committee and take some offensive guys out of there. I heard they got a lot of offensive guys making some decisions about tackling. So I don't know. It's just what I
Well, you know what's interesting, guys? So the context is so weird because during the playoff weekend, we had two calls, one non-call, one call made with big hits. Matter of fact, the Georgia game was turned around by a hit when I was at the game, and I thought the same thing. I thought when Marvin Harrison Jr. went down, I thought, hey, man, this guy's in trouble because the same way the Tree mentioned, because when he fell, like his legs went left, his upper body went right, and he just like his whole body went limp. And I thought, hey, man, this guy is in a serious situation. But again, if you looked at the hit, the reason why I didn't call anything, they did exactly what you said, Tyrone. This guy took a page of Ed Ray's book where, you kind of basically explode into the ball carrier. And when Marvin Harrison, at first the ball looked like it was going to go out of the end zone, but it fluttered. And he changed his demeanor and tried to make a play on the ball. And as soon as the Georgia defensive back saw that, that was it. And it was like, just a horrific hit. Now, it's so interesting because everybody saw that hit was a big ooh, everybody cheered, the excitement because the player got up. But I don't know what to do because it's a sport that, Kenneth, you mentioned the sport is inherently a violent sport. Tyrone, you said there's numerous occasions. It is. It's a sport where that's why we watch it. We like the impact. We like the contact. But it's getting to the point, man, where players are getting bigger, they're getting faster, they're getting stronger. And these impacts are like, they used to say it was like the equivalent of like a 20 or 30 mile, car crash. So it might be more than that now. I mean, it's just, I don't know what they're going to do, but it should be interesting.
For the Georgia game, are you talking about the targeting call that wasn't called at the end
Yep.
of the game, or are you talking about a different one? You're
At the
talking
end
about
of the
that
game.
one.
At the
So
end of
you
the game,
didn't
yep.
think that was targeting,
Mm-mm.
going by the rules.
Well, when I looked at the play, to me, he did not see the rule is, I guess, you're supposed to be a defensive player. Like I said, he made a move that went from being defensive to trying to make a play on the ball. When I saw it, I mean, if you go back,
When I saw it, it looked like targeting. But
we can agree to disagree.
I said it too. See, again, I played the game and played at a high level, and that stuff happens like that out there, man.
Right.
It happens like that. You ain't got time. You're like within feet and inches of making a decision. It's almost like when they talk about police officer. Perfect example. You're a police officer. You got a split second to make a decision. You pull your gun out and you defend yourself, or you keep it in your holster, and maybe that person, you hoping that person don't have a gun. I'm like, that's what you're asking the players to do. But from the stands, it's easy to say, okay, he could have slowed down. He could have done this. He could have done that. But out there on that field, that stuff happens like that. That's why a lot of guys can't last or don't make it to that high level. They dominate in college. Now I'm talking about like an educational standpoint. The playbook is simpler in college, but then they get to the pros, that stuff started happening like that. When I got my rookie year, and I'm 10 seconds with this here, just to let you know how fast that game is. When I got to the NFL, the first mini camp with the Carolina Panthers, we go in, first practice, they installed 7 defenses. Now coming from Fort Valley now, we only probably got about 3 defenses, period, on the first day. And we got 2 days, right? First practice, 7 coverages. I'm struggling with the 7. Come back the next day, they got 7 more. man, that game is, I'm telling you, that thing is a monster, man. So you asking guys to make decisions like that. Should I pull up? You're gonna have incidents like that. It's just like driving, boom, you gotta make a split decision. So it's tough, but I understand it when you see it from the stands. You say, oh, you had enough time to stop. But when you out there, you actually in it, that stuff happens like that, man. It happens like that. So
Yeah, I don't think they have time to stop. When you're going with momentum, I mean, it's not easy just to stop. You can injure yourself. But just going off of the rules, to me, it looked like targeting.
Yeah, so Mr. Turner is saying, yeah, Minister, that cost Ohio State the game, bro. He thought it was targeting, and of course,
Thank you.
the Michigan fans felt that it was just the opposite. That their man didn't get a call on them, and he was targeted. So it's just it is a split second decision, and it's
Michigan?
subjective. Yeah, in the Michigan game, there was a very
Oh,
controversial
I
call at
thought
the
you
end of the
were
game there
talking about
too.
the Georgia game. I got
No,
you.
but I'm saying both games had controversial calls that, for one team it turned out well, for the other team it did not.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Candace, what would your thoughts be? To Would you change something? Would you think, hey, we should kind of maybe reconstruct how we look at this targeting and hard hits? What are your thoughts?
For me, this is what I do every day.
Right.
Working for USA Football. We come up with all kinds of ways to help educate and teach players. Safer ways to tackle and just educating coaches on better ways to transfer the information. This is something that we do all the time, and so it's about making the game as safe as possible because we all know it is what it is. It's a very dangerous sport, and it's violent, as you say. But we are trying to come up with as many ways, and this is including medical experts, players, coaches, educators to come up with ways to transfer this information, to deliver this information so that we can have a safe game and keep kids involved and adults. But we want to teach them at an early age so that as they get older, they've mastered techniques. So, and I totally get what Tyrone is saying, but I just also feel like every play is different. The size and weight of these players are going to vary. Speed, velocity, force, you have to take that into account. It's going to be different every single time. So all you can do is do your best in those split seconds to make a decision to make the best tackle. And that's just what we witnessed yesterday. We had never seen before, but it's very unfortunate to say that that is a part of the game, and I don't even know if I have enough information to say that the game itself contributed to that.
Well, I say this like I said, I'm just speaking from my experience playing on that level with them, and I when making it safe, I'm all for that. But I'm like, at what point? It's kind of like those who had calluses on the side of your toe. Even women get them when they wear them little tight shoes and they get them little calluses. Now, at what point do you keep shaving the callus down? Do you shave it too much to where now that skin, where you're trying to help yourself, you now start to hurt yourself? So at what point do you say, you know what, we got to scale it down to right here, but then we got to leave something to keep the sensitive skin protected? But if you keep on shaving, you're going to end up hurting yourself. So at what point do you say, you know what, that's as much as we can do with it. That's just the nature of the beast. And then here's another thing too. Think about basketball. And I'm a play off of what Candace said. The impacts, I think Jonathan said it too. The impacts are getting, players are getting stronger and stronger. Okay, I'm going to use basketball for an example. I said this very same thing to the guy. We had a conversation. Take basketball. Okay, you got principles. You got principles, and then you got different experiences. We all got different experiences, okay? You got different size guys in the NFL, okay? One or two things going to have to happen after I explain what I'm about to say. Okay, so I'm using basketball. You got a guy, say you got Shaquille O'Neal, okay? He's in the paint. He's the principal, okay? Everybody else going to try to drive the lane, and his job is to give him all that little shoulder. That's the principal, okay? But you got a guard who weighs 190 pounds, drive the lane. His experience with the principal going to be totally different from the experience of a power forward who weighs a little bit more, who comes down that same lane. So I get that. So what you're going to start seeing is They're gonna start saying maybe this is just me talking. Okay, we're not gonna get no more small players. Small guys, y'all can't stay in this league. So what they're gonna do? The way we are in today's society, oh, you discriminating. But we try to protect you. So again, it's like a callus. How far do you go down before you say, hey, that's it? It is what it is.
You have to put in some preventative measures. You better put something on the side of that bunion or whatever. You better buy some better shoes for your foot. You know, I mean, don't just keep shaving. When are you gonna hold yourself accountable for what you can do to prevent those calluses?
Exactly.
We about to go to a break, but only Tyrone Poole could talk about stilettos and football being both problematic. All right, guys, we'll be back with more. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Stay tuned. My man Tyrone.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
All right, guys, we're back here with the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons. We have above me there the champion Tyrone Poole. We have the lady that runs everything, well, mostly everything, over at the USA Football, Miss Candace Mitchell, and the Queen, Miss Tree Doman. Let's go to social media because it's been lighting up since we have been here. Let's go all the way back here. Mr. Vincent Turner says that Michigan had the game stolen from them from bad calls all throughout the game.
I concur, Mr. Turner.
Well, I thought you would. He said it should have been a Big Ten Final Four.
And
I agree.
Okay, I agree. Sometimes the rules, things shouldn't happen. But I saw in the first quarter, Michigan got down there and couldn't put the ball in.
I agree.
So I'm like, come on now. At what point do we say Michigan, y'all lost the game?
Well, no, I mean, I agree completely with that. I'm not one of those people, oh, we lost because of this or that. No, TCU came out and they played their tail off. I give them all the credit. I'm not saying, oh, Michigan played bad, this and that. But cheating is cheating. And I agree that, yes, TCU played their tails off. Michigan was coming back, and there were a few calls. It was like, really? Come on now. So that's just my opinion. And I've never been one, we lost because of this call or we lost because of that call. Because in the football game, you get so many opportunities. But there was more than one call, in my opinion, with the Michigan game and even with the Ohio State game. That was definitely targeting at the end, but they were just like, nope, we're not even going to give them a chance to come back. So that's just my opinion. I've never been one to be like, oh, we lost because of this. Because, again, you get a total of 4 quarters to make it happen. You shouldn't even make it close, in my opinion. But I do think that cheating is cheating. And in my opinion, in both games, it was some shaky calls.
And there it is. And
there's all the faces that you're making.
Right. Yeah, so Mr. Turner said bad calls all the way through the Georgia game. Every major call went against Ohio State. Todd thinks that we need to call Dr. Phil. And he said, Tyrone, hey, man, he said the ref reversed the touchdown when it clearly was a touchdown.
Thank you, Todd! Thank you!
Wow.
Oh, my God. Thank you, somebody. Because I was watching the game, and I'm watching the replay. I'm like, that was clearly a touchdown. They reversed it. And it happened more than once. I was just like, you've got to be kidding. You can't make this stuff up. So, whatever. And it's not because I'm biased, because I'm not. If we lose, we lose. We didn't play good, which we didn't play great. Let's be real. TCU played excellent. But bad calls are bad calls. So thank you, Todd, and thank you, Mr. Turner.
And I say this, did they get the touchdown anyways? They ran a play.
No, they called it back.
They
I mean, we did score touchdowns during the game, but they called it back, and it clearly was a touchdown.
Now, is that the one? Refrain my memory. Refresh my memory. Is that the one where the guy caught the ball right and like he caught it like right near the goal line? Is that the one? Is that the game? Is that the
Yeah,
play?
he caught it. Yes, he was over. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
good.
they
Oh,
did.
they got the ball. They did get the ball right there, right? They got the ball on like with the
I
very
mean, they reversed the touchdown. It was a touchdown.
And the next play, yeah, I
And then
think
they
Michigan
put it
fumbled
at
on
the
the next
one
play.
yard
Yep.
line.
okay. So that's my point. So on the very next play, they did score. So they still got the touchdown, right?
No.
No,
I
they
mean,
fumbled the
one
next
of
play.
them they fumbled,
Right.
and
Oh,
then
that's right. That's
again,
right.
it was more than one though that they called back. So take your pick.
Okay. So even on that play, well, I'm a person. I just dive deep into it. Like I'm gonna make an example before I go back to that fumble. It's always something. Okay, 3 instances, including this instance with Michigan and Ohio State. Let me say Michigan and TCU. I go back to when the Patriots played the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, everybody talk about that play. They should have run the ball. They should have run the ball. But when I go back and look at it, that play was wide open. It was going to be a touchdown. But you know who messed that play up? It was Browner. Browner, when he got that jam on that receiver, because they had a flip. Ricardo Lockett, Fort Valley State Wildcats. Because Browner jammed that receiver so good, Ricardo then had to run the hump. He had to wait, which allowed Butler to get back into play. So really, it wasn't the play call, it was the player, Browner, for the Patriots. Okay, now go back to the Falcons. Okay,
No, Tyrone, hold on a second. Just so people know what they're talking about there. So Tyrone, get a point of reference. They're talking about the Seattle Patriots Super Bowl where Marshawn Lynch had been running the ball down the Patriots' throat, and everybody felt that Marshawn should have ran it again. And that was the call that everybody said, "Oh no!" So just you guys had a little frame of reference. That's what he's talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about, but no, I'm not talking about they should have given the ball to Marshawn. I'm saying the actual play call.
Play call. I got you. Yep.
Yeah, the play call I thought was a pretty good play call. The person who messed that play up was Browner, the defensive back. Ricardo Lockett was going to be butt wide open. It was wide open because they knew the Patriots in man-to-man in that situation. But Browner did a job that they probably didn't expect him to do. Go back to when the Patriots played the Falcons. And when Hightower, the thing changed when Hightower hit Matt Ryan. You know who fought that was? It was a good play call. Who fought that? It was Freeman.
Devontae Freeman missed the block. Yep.
He carried the fake too far up into the line of scrimmage, and he didn't. He reacted late, trying to get Hightower. Boom.
Too late.
He had brought it, but if Freeman had made that block, Julio Jones was wide open. He was wide, and that's who Matt Ryan was going to. But it happened. So now you go back to that play with Michigan. Okay, the quarterback put the ball. Go back and look at that play. Okay, the quarterback put the ball right there. The running back took the ball like this right here. You're supposed to take it like that. He took it almost like this right here. And when he put it in there, the ball fell out. That's how that happened. It wasn't the play call. The players, man. That's why I say the players are the ones that at the end of the day, they are the ones that determine whether that player is successful. Everybody wants to scream at the coach. But the coach can't go out there and throw the ball, can't run the ball, can't tackle the ball.
Yeah, so, I didn't have a problem with the play call. I have a problem with the refs cheating.
Yeah.
Well, Todd said it was so bad, he's going to have to get. Todd said it's so bad for him, he's going to call Dr. Phil from his own self. He's totally disruptive. But I got to ask you guys a question. Do you really think, to me, those were two of the greatest games I've seen since this college football playoff has kind of got together in the same weekend? Usually you have one blowout, one game pretty good. Both those games were epic. I don't know if it can get too much better than that.
There were two excellent games.
Great games.
I think that both teams, well, all 4 teams, both tournaments, the players came out ready and, well, yeah. I don't know about ready, but they all played well. They may not have started well, but they got in their mumbo. But one thing that I've always questioned and one thing I've always thought, the time that they have off from the end of the season to the bowl game, sometimes I think it's too much time because it's kind of like they're trying to find that rhythm again. Whereas if they were playing closer to the end of the season, I think it would be different. I don't know, but that's just something I've always thought about.
Well, I will say this. That does help Tree. I had an opportunity to play in 2 Super Bowls, so they give us 2 weeks off. And it does help. It does help.
But what about in college? Because they get more than 2 weeks, don't they?
I don't know. They get more than 2 weeks?
It
Yeah, in some
depends on
cases,
which
yeah.
bowl. Yeah, it seems like it's more than 2 weeks in college.
Yeah.
Isn't it sometimes like almost a month or something like that?
Well, I tell you this, even in college, go back Jackson State, the last couple of years, Dion, my guy, he my guy. But the MEAC, when they got ready to play the Celebration Bowl, the MEAC had about almost a month off. A month.
Right.
And Jackson State coming back, like they only had like maybe a week off or so. And man, Jackson State lost both of the Celebration Bowls. South Carolina State, and they lost to North Carolina
Central.
Central. So the MEAC has 3 weeks off before they even, 3 or more weeks off before they even play the Celebration Bowl. So, and they come out and they still win. So I don't know. Like you say, I don't know. I guess it's just the mentality of how the coaches take them through that week and how the players keep themselves ready for, to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely both those games are must see TV. I don't think you could ask for any type of better games coming down to the wire like that. The Georgia game was incredible. Let me see if I can get a couple of scenes from that because it was a wild scene during that. Let me see if I can kind of get this here and share this screen here so you guys can take a look at what I was looking at during the final moments here of this game. Let's see if I can make it work. Hopefully my technology will work today for me, please. Hopefully it won't mess up. Please don't do it. Let's see if we can get this here, and we'll go ahead and share this screen, and we will take a look at what it looked like at the end of the game. Hopefully I get some volume here.
Incredible ball game. Wow. A thriller.
Yeah, it was really kind of crazy during that game. It was like my ears were popping. I couldn't hear anything, and it was just it was the most epic thing I had seen in my life. The whole scenario, and then on top of that, it happened just at virtually the stroke of midnight. So the fireworks were going off. It was just, yeah. I'm gonna put some more of that stuff up on YouTube so you guys can see it. But great stuff. And then Michigan basically having a chance to tie or win the game, and they fell just short. So you can't ask for anything better. Both teams go right down to the final play of the game.
I can ask for something better. No cheating.
Wow. Okay, so you see how Todd always throws shade. Todd, I love you, bro. You can't throw shade like that because the bottom line, Todd went with someplace where you ain't been, bro. He was actually in the Super Bowl. You was at the house, and so was I.
Well, he wasn't just in the Super Bowl. He won 2 Super Bowls.
He won 2, bro. So that's always Todd with a little bit of shade right there all the time. Well, I want to ask a quick question while I have you here, Candace. I noticed that the touch football was going on. The Falcons let the ladies come on the field, and they were down up pretty good. There seems to have been a surge with more activity with flag football. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't the state of Georgia now make that kind of like an official sport now for high school? Did I get that right?
Yeah, so Georgia was the 4th state in the country to officially sanction girls flag football in high school. So we're excited about that. It's actually been officially sanctioned a few years now. But every year more and more states are coming on board. Girls want to play flag football, and the surge that you see now is going to only get even bigger and better. So we're excited about the movement in flag, and then with them playing flag in the Pro Bowl, it's going to bring a lot more awareness to the game itself, and I think that we'll get a lot of fans who never knew that flag football existed, and so I think that even is going to increase the buzz around our efforts to try to get flag football in the 2028 Olympics. So I'm just excited about the whole movement.
So I want to say I've played flag football a couple of times.
What?
You didn't know that?
What?
Yes, for Eric, Eric Matthews and his foundation. He used to put on every year a flag football tournament, and there would actually be former NFL players. I usually was the only female until I always go by her Instagram name, but I think her real name Santia. The highest paid female.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes, her. And so I met her at one of them. And so, so I've played and we raised money, and then we visited patients at the Hope Center down at Emory. And it was always fun. I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun. I always scored. I love flag football. And actually, I need to talk to you because for my nonprofit organization, I'm hosting a flag football tournament
Oh
in
wow.
Ohio and would love for you to help me out.
Oh, I'd love to help you. I mean, flag football is actually, I would call it a lifelong sport. There's so many different styles of the game. You have people playing from the ages of 3 up into their 60s, competitively, and or even beyond. And
Yeah.
at my right age of 52, I'll be playing in the nationals in over Martin Luther King weekend in Orlando with the UFFL tournament. So I'm excited about that. So I mean, this flag thing is really going strong.
Oh, good. Well, go get them. Yes, definitely need to talk because I'm putting that together now and would love your input. Like I said, we'll pay you for your services, but would love for you to help me put together this tournament. I want this to be an annual football tournament to raise money for life-saving brain cancer research and having the kids play all the way up to the adults and looking forward to it.
I say from the women's standpoint, I love it. My daughter played flag football. I was always her coach, so I always coached her team, and she was quote unquote my Randy Moss. So I say two things: flag football. If you want to recruit, go to the track and field team. Go to the track team,
Yes.
somebody else on track, and bring them over to flag football. My daughter, she ran track, and I taught her one move, and once she mastered that spin move, be able to spin and still be moving forward. Oh my goodness, you cannot pull her flags. And
Ah!
it was over. So you get up right before they get ready to pull your flag, you spin, and then boom, you off to the races. So once she learned that move there, she was unstoppable.
Okay, like
Yeah,
father, like
absolutely.
daughter.
I know, right?
The DNA was strong in that one. Yes. Well, look, guys, don't go nowhere. We'll be back with more football here, more great sports talk. We're going to shift and talk a little bit about the NFL, and of course, talk about our Falcons as well. But you won't be able to do any of that unless you stay right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be right back.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports. What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, guys, we're back here as we get ready to talk a little NFL football. We have a wonderful crew with us here. You see right above me here, the champion, two-time Super Bowl champion, Tyrone Poole, the queen, Miss Tree Dolman, and the big chief over at USA Football, the lovely Miss Candace Mitchell, all in the building with us. Yeah, so, I mean, this flag football thing, I watched a little clip of it, man. Them ladies were getting down. I was like, man, Mom used to say stay away from the fast one, but I don't know. You need some of them on your team because they were doing some jukes, some spins, and I said, what? Yes,
Yeah,
y'all.
some of these younger girls coming up, the adult women's team are snatching them up. They are snatching them up. If they're not going on to play in NAIA, once they turn 18, they're eligible to play in the adult women's league. So trust and believe, all over the country, they're snatching up these young girls who have joined the love of the world of flag football. And then also, I want you guys to know that Vanita Crouch, she's a quarterback of our women's national flag team. She is one of the coordinators for the Pro Bowl. I think she's the offensive coordinator. I don't know which team. I should know that, but just look for her. She's amazing. One of the best quarterbacks you'll ever come across that's ever played this game. So we're excited to see Vanita out there representing USA football.
Yeah,
Hey,
she's
I got I got a little tip for like coaches who coaching flag football, right? If you want your girls to have good hands, practice with the football, right? You know, you do all your catching with the football, but then there are points where you run your plays with a tennis ball. Okay, run the play with a tennis ball. It makes the girls have to focus more on catching that ball. So you have a great opportunity to work your hand-eye coordination. So that's just a little tip.
I think we have
Good
a
one.
guy making a pitch for coaching staff position. Mr. Tyrone Poole said I'm available. Y'all need to call me. So speaking of that, now I'm gonna ask you two veterans of the football gridiron. Now, Kenneth, I heard you mention something that this is a flag football game you could play for life. You know, you said there's some elderly folks who are actually playing as well.
Oh yeah, when you go to these tournaments, there are people, and I see them, of course, because I'm like, they look closer to my age, and they're older, and they have representation on these adult teams, especially in the men's, because you'll see 35 up, you'll see 40 up, you'll see 50 up divisions. Like that's how many people that are playing this game, and I know. Just from Atlanta alone, there are several women in their 50s who are still competing. Um, there are some men in their 60s who are competing on a high level in flag football. So I just consider this a lifelong sport. It's something that you can do, competing, getting healthy. You can do it at the family reunion, at your club. I mean, your company gathering, anything you can think of. Flag football is something fun that we can all do.
So if I hear you correctly, what you're
Yes,
saying is that an OG like myself with some proper training from an expert like Mr. Tyrone Poole, that I might be able to get out and try my hand in flag football.
absolutely. There is a place for you.
And that grin by Tyrone, he says, "Come on, preacher, I'll work you over so you'll be right."
Hey,
Yeah, I got
You'll know your limits. Like for me, I know my limits. Fives is not for me. The field is too small, and that game is too fast for me. So I love eight women's contact flag football. It is, you know, I don't get to tackle anybody, but I still get that contact like what I'm used to in tackle. And you got eight women on your team out there balling and hitting each other and going for flags, and it's very exciting.
y'all, y'all two here, the Queen and El Presidente. Y'all, see, I seen the Queen in action. She said, "I'm just gonna show you how good my skills are." The Queen was at an event on our Instagram page. She was at the College Football Hall of Fame. She had her gown on, sash on, crown on. And they were like, "Oh, you can't catch a pass." She said, "Hold on a second. Hold up." She put the crown, pressed it off to the side like this. She did a square out, caught the ball, and spiked it. And you, Miss Candace, I already know you dangerous. Yeah, I done seen you on the real tackle football field. So, and Tyra, you know, she see that all you defenders are the same. You see Candace's eyes get real big and light up. Well, I still get a chance to be physical from time to time. Yeah, y'all got that. See that gleam in Tyrone's eye? Look at him, Tree. Look at him. See that big grin? Yeah, all them defensive players are the same. Candace too. Oh yeah, I can be a little physical. Oh, well, I tell you, y'all,
Yeah.
something else.
And we hadn't had a chance to talk about this, but on October 28th, I've been reminded of it in light of what we witnessed yesterday. But on October 28th, I suffered a heart attack, and it's only been a couple months. I'm back on the field, and it just shows you how much love I have for this game. And without it, I don't know what I would do. People call me crazy, but with clearance from my doctors, they've actually encouraged me to continue my lifestyle, and so that's what I've done. And I haven't, you know, I take my medication, and I continue to work out, and I was simply typing an email, and all of a sudden, I ended up having to call 911. But this is something that can happen to anybody, and I just want to bring more awareness to heart issues, and then also just doing what you can to maintain a healthy lifestyle. and I'm not going to let what I love so much just go to the wayside. I know that there are always ways that I can contribute to football. I mean, it's how I make a living. But this will be my last go around in my cleats. So y'all keep a prayer for me because I am playing.
You know,
Now,
Teddy Bruschi had the same situation pretty much, and like I said, he played through. So yeah, same, pretty much
yeah,
same.
Teddy,
About
he had a
he
stroke
street
or
play.
something, right? Did
I'm
Teddy have a
sorry,
stroke?
I didn't hear
Teddy
you.
Bruschi, did he have a stroke? Was that what happened to him?
Yeah, it was something with his heart.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but they were telling him he shouldn't play, he shouldn't play, and Teddy came back, and Teddy, you know, broadcasting, played game, he played the football. So like Candace said, it actually probably made his heart stronger. You
Yeah.
know,
And Terry Cummins, I mean, for years in his final years in the NBA, he used to play with a doctor or a defibrillator behind the bench. Yeah, so people can still do it. So that's encouraging to know that you're kind of back out there and still doing what you do. Now, I hope, Candace, this will be the official retirement. Keep in mind now, I don't heard this about 3, 4, 5 times. All right, oh yeah, this is the last time. Arm broke. This is the last time. Something else happened. Last time. I'm just saying this. I've heard this. See, them two haven't heard it, but I've heard this before. Oh yeah, bro, this is the last time. Hmm.
I know. Yeah, I don't know that I'll have time. But I just want to finish the season out with my teammates, and it's been a good ride. And so just to get clearance from my doctors to
Right.
say that I can continue on, I'm excited about being able to do that. So
And we're excited for you. And I'm gonna have to think about Tyrone training me because see Tyrone, I think he would. I saw that gleam in his eye. I don't know what he might do to me if I put myself in his hands. I might, y'all might see me out here like this.
I think I think I think when you said that, I looked up and I was them lights. I got them lights.
That's what I saw. I saw that gleam in your eye. I said, no, no, no. I have to do a virtual workout. Yeah, because you get Tyrone in person, he kind of do. He tell him before I get there. Now look, when the preacher come in, lock the
Now you,
fence so he can't get out. Okay.
I'm gonna have you running heels, man.
I already know, bro. Yeah, you ain't.
Run
No,
them heels, man. Run them heels. Run those heels. Run the heels.
I'd have to get ready before I see you, bro. Yeah, but listen, that flag football thing sounds intriguing. That whole idea, of, you know, trying a little something before I, get too decrepit. I'm gonna have to look into that. We'll see what goes on. All right, guys. NFL. Let's talk a little NFL. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. One weekend left, and somebody I know, somebody is real excited because I believe her team has still got a shot.
We sure do.
Come on, throw up. I need the placards now. Let's get the placards. We got them handy. You
You
got
want
your.
you want to see your Falcons first? Or you want to see my Lions first?
Wow.
Nobody want to see the Falcons. Let's go to Detroit.
That
You go right there.
All right, we'll go to Detroit.
that's not nice. Go Falcons.
No, wait, we don't want to see the Falcons.
Now.
How about that? We don't want to see the Falcons.
Woo! So right now we are even 8-8. This next week matters. We have to win, and the Seattle Seahawks has to lose in order for us to go to the playoffs. All because we lost to the North Carolina Panthers. Had we won that game, we would have clinched our spot, but we didn't. So now we had to win out, and we had to have the Commanders lose, and they lost. Thank you. And now we need the Seattle Seahawks to lose, and we have to beat Green Bay in Lambeau.
And Green Bay also is playing for a playoff spot, so that should be must-see TV. The Lions and Packers always good stuff. All right, put up your other placard, your other team that you like. Come on, hurry up.
Because all they have to do is win. All right, bam! My Minnesota Vikings, Skull Vikings. You see this fabulous record. I mean, hello. It does get better than this, but we only have 4 losses. You can't be mad at that.
Already clinched the playoff, brother. Okay, go with
Yes,
the Falcons
we
now.
have.
This what everybody wants to see.
I know you're happy because you guys have another W on yours. Which
Yes.
I said you guys wouldn't win more than 4 games, maximum of 5. So now you guys have proven me wrong because now you guys have 6 wins.
Wow.
Sorry.
See, even the dog knows what time it is. Even the dog knows the Falcons know what's up. And
The
for
dog
me,
knows what? That the Falcons won 6 games?
they won 6 games. That's right. And you
Yeah.
know, you had said only 4. I personally have said 10. And of course, I believe personally, had they put Desmond Ritter in a couple of games early, we could have had a better shot at that. But I'm not gonna deal with
Okay.
that right now because I have a guy who's an expert on the Falcons waiting in the rings right now. He's the man we bring in. We want to talk Falcons and NFL football. He is the embedded beat writer for AJC Sports for the Falcons. He is an award-winning beat writer, and he is Esquire par excellence, the one and only rocking the fedora. D. Orlando Bedletter is in the building. D-Led, what's going on, sir?
Hey, not too much, Reverend. Thanks for having me on the show this evening.
Sir, thanks for being back with us. As you can see, we have the full complement, and the lovely Miss Candace Mitchell has stopped by to join us too, sir.
Yes,
I like your
welcome, Miss
hat, D-Led.
Candace. Thank you. The Ledbetter daughters were directed toward this for a Christmas purchase, and they came through like champs.
Aw.
It's always lovely when your children get grown. 'Cause you get
Yeah,
them
you
good
can
gifts.
ask for
There's no
good
bad
gifts.
tide, none of that. You get them hats, you get watches. Praise the
Yep.
Lord. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
All right. Before we talk Falcons, the four teams that you think are going to make some noise, it seems like the top four to me, the NFC: Eagles, Vikings, Cowboys, 49ers. Who do you guys think out of that scrum is going to actually get to the Super Bowl? Tree, I'll start with you first.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely going with the Vikings. Go Vikings.
Okay.
And 4 teams.
No. You can pick of those four
Oh.
teams. Which one do you
Oh,
think has the best chance to get to the Super Bowl and represent the NFC?
I'm definitely going with the Vikings.
Okay, that's good. That's it. That's
Yeah,
your pick right there.
definitely
Top
going
of the
with the
pool.
Vikings.
Of those four teams: Eagles, Vikings, 49ers, Cowboys. Which one do you think is going to get through the scrum and get to the Super Bowl?
Very quickly, the Eagles kind of worrying me a little bit. I never think you should go into a playoff situation, on a losing streak. It just makes it tough. You got to go to this playoffs on a winning note. And when I look at that, with that being said, the 49ers have won 9 straight games. So I'm like, when you talk about going into the playoffs hot, they are hot.
I'm coming in hot.
I'm coming in.
Yeah.
All right, so we got one vote for the Vikings, one vote for the 49ers. Miss Candace Mitchell, who do you like? Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles, or the Vikings?
My boyfriend is going to kill me if I don't say Cowboys. So I'm going to say Cowboys, but I cannot. I mean, Tyrone called it. Going into the playoffs on a winning streak is a lot, and I think that carries a lot of weight. So kudos to the 49ers, but go Cowboys by default.
There we go. Mr. D. Orlando Ledbetter, who do you like out of those teams? Eagles, Cowboys, Vikings, 49ers to go to the NFC, represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
The 49ers are clearly the best of this group. But you also want to look at the best quarterback in the group, and I think that's Dak. That's probably Dak Prescott of this group. So San Francisco with Dallas as my backup.
Okay.
Okay. Good answer. Who's
Good
yours,
answer.
Jonathan?
I tell you, I'd like to see the Philadelphia Eagles. Even though I don't really necessarily like the Eagles, I do like Jalen Hurts. And I would love to see him get in here and see what he could do against whoever the AFC represents. So I'm going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles
Okay.
as my team to shake up the world and get in there. And I'm going to put a wild card in because my brother is a lifelong Vikings fan. That would be my backup, the Minnesota Vikings, to get to the Super Bowl, a place they have not been in over 50 years almost. So we want to see the Vikings if the Eagles can't go. So those are our 2 picks. All right. We know one team ain't going nowhere this year, and that's our hometown Atlanta Falcons. They have already punched their ticket to go play some golf and to go on down to Miami and enjoy some sun and fun. So, D-Led, first of all, what are your thoughts about Ritter now? It's been, I guess it's 3 games now they got it right, or 2 games. What do you think of his performance? Do you think that he's got the look of a potential franchise-type quarterback, or the Falcons have to go hunting again next year? Uh-oh. Let's get it.
You're muted.
You got to mute that mic, D-Led. Unmute.
Yeah.
There
I
we
had
go.
to do that for my.
Okay.
I was coughing and so forth. So I was
Gotcha. No
for that.
worries.
Yeah. No, Reverend, he's not. that shouldn't be the question. Is he your quarterback of the future? You don't draft franchise quarterbacks in the third round. So what you're trying to decide is, can you play with him at quarterback? And so far, he's doing actually a little bit worse than what Mariota was doing. So I think you got, all his numbers through 207 snaps, he's throwing for less than what Mariota was throwing for. So he's not hitting a deep ball. Mariota wasn't hitting a deep ball. One thing he's doing that Mariota didn't do was turn the ball over. So he's been a game manager for these 3 games. Now, will he get better? I'm thinking, yeah. And you probably were right, Reverend, that they should have been playing him earlier, so we could have got this out of the way
Right.
and start seeing some good ball. Because if y'all watch the Sunday night game, Kenny Pickett, the first round pick of the Steelers, they took their lumps with him early, and he's hanging in the pocket throwing darts in the fourth quarter, brought them back in a big 16-13 grinded out win against Baltimore. And I'm like, oh, okay, now you're seeing that he's going to probably be an NFL quarterback. With Desmond, we haven't seen enough to, start, saying that yet.
Miss Tree,
So
what do you think about Mr. Ritter? You think this guy's got the potential to be our guy, or the Falcons might have to sniff around and look for somebody else next year?
I agree with D-Led. I don't see him being the quarterback, but I definitely think they will be looking for a quarterback. But from what I've seen from him, I think he definitely needs more playing time and more coaching. I like what I see from him. So I think that he definitely has potential. I just don't see him being the quarterback yet.
yeah, I say this, Ritter. I think Ritter is a product. What we're seeing is the mirror image of how the mindset was for the Falcons offense for this year. Okay, what I mean by that is, and I've experienced this myself. When I went from Carolina to Indianapolis, right? I left one team going to a new team, but I had the same defensive coordinator. So I'm like, I really didn't play like I could play until I got with Ray Rose. Anybody don't know Ray Rose? He used to be,
Yeah, we know him.
Yes, sir.
yeah. So once I got with Ray Rose, that's when I came out. That's when I came out. But when I went from Carolina to Indianapolis, I had the same defensive coordinator. So the mindset was the same. So I think what you're seeing is just a layover of the mindset that the offensive coordinators had when they were coaching Mariota. So I think you're seeing Desmond Ritter, like D-Led alluded to, the deep ball. Okay. But if you go somewhere else where they're going to work on your game and let you be you, that's why you see players go from one team to another team, and they do well because that team allows them to do what they do best. So I think you're seeing just a rollover, a spillover of Mariota into Ritter, and you're not allowing the guy to be who he is. That's just my perspective.
Can't your thoughts? You think this guy could be the real deal, or the Falcons going to be still sniffing around next year looking for another QB?
Yeah, I think that they'll be sniffing around because I don't think that he has done enough to prove that he is the guy and that there's no need to sniff around. But I also think the Falcons need to make an investment at the QB position. We really need to go out there and get a big time quarterback that can come in and just take over this team, or either they, um, take Ritter and like Tyrone said, allow him to play using his strengths, and so we'll see what they're gonna do. But for me, my opinion is they better dig deep in this draft.
Derek Carr, they better get rid of him out there with Oakland. Derek Carr come to Atlanta, I know.
Well, you guys already know I like Mr. Ritter. I think he's a guy that is a winner. He's a guy that doesn't turn the ball over. And when he played against top caliber competition, even though Cincinnati themselves weren't quite up to the task, he handled himself okay. And like you say, he didn't turn the ball over, didn't look like he was scared of the big moments. And he does seem like he can throw the ball. Now, is he the best deep ball thrower? Probably not. But I still think that you give him a full complement of weapons with that running game. And like you say, Tyrone, kind of take the tap off the playbook a little bit. You get a healthy Kyle Pitts back. I think they can do some work. I really do. And there's no question he's already developed some chemistry with Drake London. I mean, they may not be throwing the ball far, but that's his guy. And they have developed that at least. So I think that if they give him some more work, I think that he could be your guy. And then you can focus on doing some other things. Number one, they got to get an edge rusher. That's like imperative. And you would love to have another stud on the other side of Chris Lindstrom. I think if they can get those two things and kind of open up that playbook a little bit for Mr. Ritter, I think the Falcons could be a winning team and a fun team to watch next year. That's just my opinion.
And I think it's also at the quarterback position. It's just like at the cornerback position. You know, everybody like defensive backs, they say, you know, you got to run a 4-2, a 4-3. You know what? Really, to play corner, you got to have great hips and great feet and great explosion. All right, because majority of the routes that are run are from the line of scrimmage to 20 yards out. You don't believe me? This Sunday or Saturday when they play, whatever. Because the NFL taking over Saturday and Sunday now.
Yeah, bro, they're greedy. NFL greedy, bro.
Check out how many deep balls they throw a game. They don't throw probably about 2 or 3 deep balls a game. The rest of the routes are 0 to 20 yards out. So really, you just got to have a quarterback who can throw that comeback. If you can throw that comeback in the NFL, you'll be a heck of a doggone good quarterback. You just got to know where to throw the ball. All right, I seen Tom do it for so many years. Tom wasn't that strong. Tom just knew where to throw that ball, take what the defense gives you.
Yeah, it was death by crossing routes. I figured it out by the time I got to the Seattle Super Bowl. I'm like, oh, he's just going to cross and route them to death all the way down the field. And he's been doing it for years with Wes Walker, Amendola, whoever. Now it's Chris Godwin is the death by crossing routes guy. So, you get what you can get something you could do very, very well at a highly efficient level, and they can't take it away. I'm not saying you could beat Tom Brady, but you got enough to play with.
And no doubt. Well, D-Led, what else do you think the Falcons need to add to this team? I mean, they got some good pieces.
Everything, Reverend. Come on now. Everything. They're last in the league in everything except for running the ball. So they got $88 million under the cap. They got, that they're going to have a lot of cap money, and they got a lot of draft picks. So you can throw a dart at the board. You need everything. You need linemen. You need tackles. You need linebackers. You need cornerbacks. This is a team that was made up $100 million team. They're $8 million under the cap. So you're going to play every Sunday with guys that shouldn't even be in the league. So, there's guys on this roster that will not be playing next year. A lot of them, because the Falcons will have money to spend to upgrade their depth at every position. So they got a lot of needs. The only thing they do well is what? Run the ball. So you got a running back, and you got a line that can pass block. Not real sure if they can run block. I still want a right tackle because I don't think they can pass block. So you need another wide receiver. You need another running back. You need a quarterback. Maybe, maybe not. You definitely need linebackers on the outside and the inside. You definitely need defensive linemen to go with Grady Jarrett. And you got one cornerback. So you need some more cornerbacks. And they put Isaiah Oliver at safety last week. So maybe you need safeties too to go with Richie Grant and Jalen Hawkins. So yeah, they need everything, Reverend. You don't put a team out there that's $88 million under the cap and say, oh, we don't need anything.
Let me ask D-Led, do you think it's any pressure on the management? Because those numbers you just threw out there, those are a lot of numbers. And, I remember a guy who lives in South Beach now. He used to coach the Dallas Cowboys, and he traded Herschel Walker and got all those draft picks, and man turned the Cowboys around like that. So with all that money that the Falcons going to have in these draft picks, do you think that puts even more pressure on management that if they don't get this thing right or turn it back around in 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years is what I got, Tyrone. And I think they amassed these picks if they think they need the quarterback, then they got to go get Bryce Young or the C.J. Stroud kid. So they're 7th right now. You might can get one of them at 4, or you definitely got to go to the top of the front of the class if you got to get one of them. So If you feel that you don't have your quarterback, that's going to drive the whole draft. That's going to drive everything. But like I said, if they think they can play with Ritter, they think they can go be a championship level team with Desmond Ritter. That's the question. You don't want to just play with the guys. Like, can this guy take us to the Super Bowl at some point? When we build a team around him. So if you feel that, then you go ahead and take the lineman from Clemson, the pass rushing kid from Hillgrove, Miles Murphy, or you take the Paris Johnson tackle from Ohio State, who's going to be a road grader for 10 years in the league. So those are the questions that we'll be asking all the way up to April. And we'll get a clue on which way they're going to go based on what they do with the money in free agency. And I haven't started looking at the list and who's going to make it to the free agency list. And but the key is, and we know it, when you sign guys from other teams, it's the reason why they're getting away from that other team. And you better know why that reason is. And all we have to do and remember is when the Falcons signed Ray Edwards from the Vikings, they were looking for a pass rusher to go opposite John Abraham, but he was marching to his own little different beat, didn't fit in the locker room, and they had to cut him, and it cost them about $20 million. So you got to spend wisely in the free agency market.
Yeah,
So
Ray
Arthur
Edwards was a
Smith got a
bust.
2-year
Yeah.
deal now. Arthur Smith got a 2-year deal left. He got 2 more years left because if the Falcons don't get it right in the next 2 years, they're gonna be calling for his neck, for his job.
I think he got 5, but yeah, after the 3rd year, you either re him up or keep moving. So, I think they're pleased with where they are building the team out, even though they won't call it rebuilding. They have the most players under 26 in the league, and they got some people they think are going to turn to some pretty good football players.
Candace, you looking at this team. What do you think? Is it like, are you agree with D-Led? They need everything. They need to kind of just back up the truck and say, give me one of each.
Hey, if we can make it happen, I think that's a great idea, and if they, like you said, but they plan on keeping Ritter, give him a great supporting cast, bring in everybody else that they can to help him do what they eventually put him on the field to do. So we'll see how they do it. I mean, when you go into Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it's so electric in there, and the fans are so loyal and dedicated, and it's just really exciting. And so I would love to see my hometown do whatever they need to do to get a great team back in Atlanta.
Candace, you are awesome, but the Falcons are the complete opposite of loyal and dedicated.
Listen, I'm talking about my homegrown ATLians. We are up in Mercedes-Benz Stadium every time there's a home game. I'm telling you.
No, I get that, but y'all are not loyal or dedicated. Time the
Yes,
Falcons are
yes, we are
losing.
your real true SWATs people. Yes, we are. We are
Nah,
dedicated, win, lose, or draw. The thing is, Atlanta is such a melting pot that you get so many fans from all over the place, and
I get that, but I'm talking about the people born and raised in Atlanta. I'm not talking about people like me that's not born here, who live here. I'm talking about people who are born and raised in Atlanta. You may be loyal and dedicated, but we all know that Atlanta fans are not loyal and dedicated to the Falcons. I've seen the Falcon fans from Atlanta turn their backs on the Falcons once they're
They're
losing.
implants. They're implants. They're
You said what?
They're implants.
Hey, now Tree is onto something right there. Now, it's just something. Maybe it's just like Candace said too, is a melting pot. But I've been around areas playing football where the fans are loyal, they're dedicated. Even when I was with the Oakland Raiders, we were losing, but them Raider fans, boy, they showed up. They showed up. New England, the Patriots, any team in Boston. I'm like,
Detroit Lions.
Yeah, Detroit Lions, Detroit too. So, but yeah, and Atlanta, I think, I don't know, it's got a half and half. They on the fence. Whichever way the wind blow, that's where they fall.
Right.
Yeah, the Falcon fans are a little wishy-washy. They won't fill up the stadium, whereas Detroit fans got 60,000 deep. They ain't won a championship since '54.
Yes.
Falcon fans
Yeah,
feel like
'cause
they're
you
more
know,
front runners.
we get mad. We're gonna go. They might not go to the stadium, but they're gonna be somewhere eating brunch, dressed
That
down
don't
to the nines,
that
watching the
don't count. That don't count. You
Exactly.
gotta
Thank
go to
you,
the
Leah.
stadium.
That doesn't count. You know
That
how
don't
many bad
count.
seats you see in
That's called brunch.
Mercedes-Benz?
That's called hanging out. That's not being a football fan. You know the
You know,
Browns people,
we
they
brunch in
come.
Atlanta.
Yeah, but I mean, if you support your team, you support your team.
I totally
Every
agree.
Sunday, every Sunday, every Sunday.
We go back to social media. My boy Todd trying to light it up here before we get this thing wrapped up. He says here, is Coach Smith still with the Falcons? I think he answered that already. In a couple of years, they're going to try to give him two more. And he said, do you think Arthur Blank will be patient because his record has not necessarily been one of patience?
Well, yeah, it's got to be. I mean, they haven't been to the playoffs in 5 years, so that's you don't want to get on that Ferris wheel where you're turning over the quarterback every 3 years, going 7-9, 6-10, 4-12. Tampa Bay did that for years in between Gruden and Tom Brady, and so if you want to build a winning team, you got to build it from the ground up, and you got to be patient for that to happen. And you need a little luck there too. You need some players to turn out to be very good. Like D'Angelo Malone in the 3rd round or something like that. Grady Jarrett was a 5th rounder. Vic Beasley should still be here. You need some luck. You need some players to come through and be good for a long time for you. And I don't know how you don't have patience in doing that.
Well, they do have some, it does apparently appear some youth in the foundation. We do now finally have our first official, no disrespect to Jake, but Jake, I think, was an alternate Pro Bowler. We really have a legitimate Pro Bowl lineman in Chris Lindstrom. It looks like he can, without injury, be there for a while. It looks like we may have a stud running back in Algier. And obviously, we have a defensive back that can ball out with AJ. So, I mean, we got some pieces in place. Then, of course, we have a Pro Bowl guy in Kyle Pitts. And I think that Drake London has that same potential. So they got some pieces. If they can just build around those, especially defensively, that's really where the lacking is, man. They got to get somebody to get to rush that passer, man. I mean, they got to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
no
7 players, Reverend. That we need. You're gonna need at least 22.
Hold up, D-Led. Hold up.
I say this right here. D-Led definitely, he knows exactly what, he's been around football, knows it very well. Now, I just looked up, some information on what positions do you need to be a winning Super Bowl team. Of course, I've seen it. With the page. And I looked at this article. I said, before I even speak on this, does it match up what I saw? And yes, it does. So D-Leg gonna appreciate this. And everybody's been talking about this. Number one, you got to find a franchise quarterback. Any team that gets to the Super Bowl, they got a franchise quarterback. Offensive line, D-Leg hit on that. You got to get an offensive line. You got to have your offensive line intact. And then you got to get offensive playmakers. Okay? Do the Falcons have offensive playmakers? I know we're talking about Drake London and all that, but at the end of the day, you need somebody who really the defense is scared of.
Right.
The coordinator is scared of that dude. All right, Julio Jones, the defense is scared of Julio. All right, and that frees up everybody else. Okay, you got to have a pass rushers, man. You got to get to the quarterback, especially this day in the game. And then you got to have overall defensive playmakers back there. Defensive. Maybe you got a corner who's a playmaker. The other corner may be average, but you got that corner. He's a playmaker. So now the defensive coordinator can roll the defense over and take away whatever the offense is trying to do. Okay, so really, the Falcon fans, once that formula, those ingredients get put in the pot, go back and look at when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl. That's what they had. That's what they had as a team. So that's just the formula.
Well, that was a good way to end the show, guys, because we got to wrap it up. But you know what, guys? Every time we have people on this show, we want to make sure you can find out more about them on social media, on the website. So, the Orlando Ledbetter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Reverend, for having me on Real Talk Sports. You can find me on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC and on Instagram at DOrlandoLed. Got the Cover 9 at 9 blog coming out 9 a.m. every Wednesday. And the Bowtie Chronicles podcast midweek to preview the upcoming game. and after the game to wrap up what the Falcons just did on that particular day. Thanks for having me. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
T.
you,
Lid.
Ted.
Woo! There he is. Yes, sir.
Bark, D, man, bark, bark, bark. Where the dog at? Where the
Yeah, he still got a little cough right now, so we can't do him like that. All right. We now go to the ladies. Miss Candace Mitchell, the floor is yours.
You guys can find me on Twitter at KP Mitchell or KP Mitchell51 or on Instagram at K Michelle51. I look forward to interacting with you guys.
I gotta get you a little. I gotta get that ready, write it down so I can get you a little official banner. So next time you come, I'll be ready for you. I'll be ready. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Candace. Have a blessed one. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
All right, Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
Hey, very simple. There you go. Bam. Tyrone Poole 38. All social media. And also, let me tell people this. If you're looking for a great workout and you just trying to get yourself toned up, New Year's, it's New Year's, right? Everybody want that great body for 2023. You need to come check out WTT Body Sculpting. All right. Proven exercises. You work at your pace and you get the results you want. All right. So go check me out, TyronePoole38.com. Click WTT Body Sculpting. Got to work out tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. See you there.
Work that thing.
I need that right there. All right. Deliver Miss Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. You put the wrong one up. You can find me on all social media at Purple Diva 13, as well as Miss America International 2022. Again, Happy New Year to you guys. Have a lot of great things going on this year. So make sure you stay tuned. And Todd and Jonathan, I'm just waiting for you guys to buy candles because of the little thing that we have going on with my Lions this year.
Oh yeah, we'll be buying them candles. No doubt about that. We'll take care of you. We'll take care of you for sure. All right, everybody. I'm gonna wrap it up here. You know me. I'm the minister Jonathan Simmons. We want to encourage you guys to certainly continue to watch our broadcast. Remember, follow us anywhere on social media. There it is, right there. Real Talk Sports, the number 7. But more importantly, go to our Real Talk Sports TV page on YouTube. Follow and subscribe. Hit that little bell, and it will let you know when we are there. And then here you are, right there. You can contact me if you got a great sports story. Jay Simmons at realtalksports.net. You can also contact me directly at 678-410-9833. We're also looking for sponsors, so we appreciate you if you can kind of join in with us as well. All right, guys, Christmas season has come and gone. We're going into a new year, so I'm asking you, please, if you really want to change yourself, get to know the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. Why? Because nobody loves you like Jesus. He came here, he walked on the earth, he died for you, but more importantly, rose from the dead. So all you have to do is repent of your sins and believe that, and 2 great things happen. Number 1, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven, and number 2, you become an adoptive child of God with all the rights therein. That means you now can go to the creator of the universe like a loving parent, asking for anything that you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll grant it to you. And the good thing is when you die, you go to that wonderful place called heaven, where there's none of the following: no pandemic, no pain, no bad people, adorn every building with the most spectacular jewels we've ever seen. Even the streets are paved with gold that's so pure it's translucent. And you avoid that nasty place called hell, where none of the things that are in heaven will be in hell. So bad people, it stinks, it's rough, nasty, and you're cut off from God, Jesus Christ, and all the people of love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number 1 instead of option number 2. All right, guys, until the next time that we see you again, we say God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening.
Bye.
So long.